It's kind of crazy. Now the outside looks so good, you really notice things.
Red, is that red?
It's wrinkled. It's supposed to be one piece, not two. Door panel fits really good. I wanted to have a before and after. Thought I would show you guys the interior, how nice it came out. Welcome back, guys and girls, to Dad's Toy Garage. We got some stuff going on today. Last episode we painted the Miata. You had a quick peek of that. Today we are get it unmasked. I want to maybe start interior stuff. We got a ton of parts I've ordered coming day after day in the mail. Today, for example, we got brand new old stock, I would call it, belt moldings for the side window, side glass. The other order of business is a lot of my lights up here are burning out. They're T5 fixtures. They're nice and bright when they work, but the ballasts don't last long. So I've got a whole bundle right here behind me. I'd like to get those installed. Pretty much you pull the ballast out and you put that in. Plus, I got hot chocolate, homemade, kind of being on a little kick of homemade hot chocolate. So yeah, I am enjoying that. We'll have a bit of sip of that and we'll work on this car right here. It's Miata Day and I'm looking forward to it. I want to take it out in 2 weeks with the finished interior. Interior is the next goal. I have seat skins on the way. I have a shifter boot on the way. We're upgrading to a black vinyl. It should be easier to keep it clean. Plus, I got a bunch of SEM spray. It's the same stuff we used on the car that's behind the camera, the 73 Celica, to bring all the black vinyl parts brand new, and hopefully we can reskin the door panels. They are in need of it. At that point, this car is pretty much there. If we have time, we will also paint the rims a fresh coat of paint. So let's get into this. And let's have some fun, let's get it done. I am looking forward to taking this thing out for rip. Part of me wants to sell it, part of me wants to keep it. It just looks so good now, guys. Selling it means I can finish my Celica. So, let's dive right into this, let's have some fun, let's get her done. And that's really good. So initially for lighting in the shop, I had these bigger fixtures, and then Tony hooked me up with T5s when they put in LEDs in replacement. Now, as you can see, burnt out. So with some of those, I bought 8 bulbs. So I would like to get this fixture going because it's dark. That's painting, by the way, using a flashlight to check it and just going by feel. But for those of you who missed last episode, we got this thing unmasked. Mostly, there's a little bit left, but this was a 3-tone red. That's how everybody knew it. It's got a sprayed shine on there like that, guys. It almost looks sand and buffed. And this was sprayed right in the shop here. It is pretty clean. The hood had the most dust because the compressor's sitting right beside it, but I couldn't get a body shop that was willing to let me use the space, including the paint shop that I work in. So we just ended up painting it here. But yeah, that's the car. We've got it unmasked. Even the jams, I redid those. So we're up to snuff. Over the last 30 years, people dragged their feet here. So I want to get new skins on here. We'll re-dye everything in black. Still got my lawn chair sitting in there. And it's dirty from doing the body work. We'll re-dye the sills. But here's an example of how close our match was. I repainted the seam sealer portion of this, and this is still factory. And must be because it's a single stage red. We gotta paint the rockers black. The wheels aren't bad, but if I give them a scuff and a shoot, they'll be over the top perfect. And we want to pull the lights out of here and polish them tonight. I've got the buffer from work, so that will probably be the first thing we do is buff the lights. Alright, so here's what we got. A cordless polisher. As Tony would say, it doesn't have a tail, so it's better. Using the Finixa polish, like we did on the Celica lights, and a wool pad. These are the tail lights. You can see they're not bad, but when I polish them, they're going to go over the top. The other one is the same, not cracked or damaged, but it does need a good polishing. So that's what we're going to get onto right away. They're gonna look brand new, guys. I'll give you a show of that in a sec here. It doesn't take long to polish up this plastic. Cool. All right, let's have a look at it. So you got this side here versus the old side. You can see all the scuff marks in there, but that'll be brand spanking new. So here's your before in a sense. You can see they just scuff up over time. And here's your after. We got the shine back into it. So we'll polish up that one. We'll polish up everything else that is a plastic lens, and it'll be happy day. So all the plastic lights are now detailed, polished, and they're a lot shinier. Should work, eh? So those will go on the car once we're done stripping. So under the engine bay is now stripped. I think we just have the trunk area left to strip. Then we can put those lights back in, and the fuel door. But we'll strip that and do lights. I think that'll be the plan, and then I want to throw on these moldings that we got right away. I guess top and bottom matters. It says top up here, and I didn't see that. Let's see what goes in now. There we go. And these are side specific, guys, from what I can tell. The only reason I put tape on here was to prevent these lights from shattering. I thought I'd be driving to a body shop. Well, even having them dangling in there could wreck them. They're all glass bulbs. So, at least they're clean too, no overspray. Okay, top is going to be this way. Tail panel's on, so I'm going to throw the lights in there. The battery's dead, so we're just charging that up. So I have not seen it in red because we've always had black, and I do like black, but I thought if we're going close to factory as possible, we might as well have it the way it came from factory. And I got to put the badge on yet. I just got to get some glue for the back of that. So I am going to throw the lights in there. All right, guys and girls, you won't see my face in this, but I did some looking online to see where this badge was supposed to go. I've polished it up. I got new sticky on the back by 3M. It's the same stuff we would use at work to hold our emblems on. And what I saw is this is about a tape width, and it gets you just under this point, and it's centered between here and here. So we're going to set it right here as the goal, and it actually centers it nicely using tape that width. So, and it should be clean. It's brand new part, so I don't see why this wouldn't just stick. So hopefully we get it right the first time. It's on there. Okay, here's what I mean. This is this size of tape, and this is the wider one here. And it's exactly this height from what I could tell, and it's centered kind of between this point and this point, and the tape actually allowed me to do exactly that. So we'll take this off here. Hopefully the paint sticks. Sometimes plastic gives you a bit of an issue when you paint it, but we seem to be okay. There you go. That is nice and straight, even with this, and that's as straight as you can get it. So we got everything on the back. I don't know if it's supposed to have a badge here for this model year. I don't have it because this is a replacement part that we've talked about, and this was like literally cracked and destroyed. The original one came off in pieces. You could like crumble it in your hands. But I hated this piece when I got the car. I'm keeping it on there now because I'm seeing nobody keeps them on. I think at some point that might become a feature worth having on the car. So what I did was I polished it up, steel wool, and then these pieces here were kind of a little bit baked. So they're like rubber again. I just took steel wool to it, the finest that I had as well. Everything is screwed back down. I I am glad now that I've gone with the red. I think this car is becoming dead factory, so we might as well leave it like that. It's kind of crazy now. The outside looks so good. You really notice things. So I'm going to have to do something with the steering wheel yet. That leather is done. So I'm going to probably remove it, see what the wheel looks like underneath there. All right, the wheel is cleaned up. I ended up taking steel wool and plastic prep cleaner to take off the leather glue residue stuff, and some of it was done with the razor blade scraping in this area here. So I'm going to have to spray that with the black sem when I do the rest. But you can see there's what's left of the steering wheel on the floor. It was shot. But that is much more presentable. So we'll run with that. So I got the sem paint. It's meant for interior stuff, but I read plastics and motorcycle seats. Well, that could sit outside. And these aren't in UV all the time. So I'm going to hit this with plastic cleaner. And I'm going to spray these in black sem, Landau black. And these are the surrounds for the headlights. I think it'll look really good when they pop up and they're black. So that's what I'm gonna do with those guys. So here's the stuff I'm using. Landau black, color coat 15013. So it just makes it nice and fresh. When it dries, it'll have the semi-flat look to it. So sem is dry. You can see how it makes the plastic look brand new. There are some scrapes on here. That's just from, I guess, it rubbing the fender over time, or the rubber that's there. But it will do a lot for the part itself. So instead of the old weathered look, we got the new. Check that out, guys. They're all fit up with the new paint on those parts there, the black parts. That's kind of what makes the NA Miata for me, is these lights. Pop-ups are cool. When they're closed, they're sleek. Well, those rusty moldings are gone. And I've got one fit up. It actually just clips in real easy. This clips on the back side of it. In order to pull it off, these ones pulled right out. They're attached to the new molding, but it just goes in there and it stays on there. So very cool. We'll do this side tomorrow morning. This molding's on. We got both sides installed. Really does a lot for it. Alright guys, girls, I hope I'm in the camera lens here, but I got this. I was excited about off eBay. It's pretty good. I noticed in a couple areas here some of these lines are crooked, so I might have to pick it apart a little bit before I put it in, including the start of the M here. But I'm taking some measurements. So I've got the height down here. I found them on a forum. And then we're gonna go here, and the guy has original decal on his still. He says it comes to this point right here. So I'll mark it with a tape and I'll stick it on according to those measurements right there. And I've been looking forward to getting this decal on there. I'm probably going to cut it nice and close here so that I can get right up on my yellow tapes. So I'll get that on there and we'll be good to rock. So I've actually cut this little guy out. I'm going to add him in a bit because both of these are separate pieces from the Z in the text, and they were a little bit, in Low German we'd say scheif or crooked. So it's a new word for you guys. This I'm not going to play with getting this straight right here because it's too delicate. There's no way I can do it. If I do cut it and separate it, it would be right here, and then we have a weak point. So I'm going to throw this in once I get the rest of this kind of rubbed down here. So as I said earlier, it is not a genuine Mazda logo, but this one was under $10, so can't complain for that price. There, that's about as straight as we're gonna get it. So let's peel this off in a sec. So, first of the interior parts has arrived. Got this on eBay, but it's a leather boot for the shifter with a double red stitch. I think it'll match the car quite nicely. Sorry, it's hard to tell. There won't be any other red stitching accents in here, but we got the black simulated leather seats coming. If you check that out, that'll look really good in there. That'll really tie it together. We got the dashboard is pretty much sanded, ready for the texture paint. So, got to pull these seats out once I've got the sanding done, so that we can prep the interior for restaining. All right, guys and girls, it's time to paint the center console. I've got it cleaned up real good. Used that stuff over there, the plastic by Chromax, the 2319S, and we're gonna use the same stuff we used on the Celica interior. No, we don't want to do that. No phone spraying, right?
Red, is that red?
No, that is black.
Super Batman.
The super, sure, yeah. Check that out, guys. It's like brand new. What do you think, mister? Good?
Yeah.
Perfect. Check that out, guys. I just love this stuff. Works great. These are the wettest ones right here. But everything else sprayed in SEM. Even the sill or kicks. No, those are kick panel speakers, I guess, right in the front of the doors. Console. That's not old, but I sprayed it to match. And then I got these guys, came out pretty good. Like, it won't take out the scratches, but all that gray stuff you get in the texture that sinks into there, I've cleaned it out and it's gone. So best bet I found for cleaning these parts has no chemical. It's a wet microfiber rag and then a dry one after you lint it off with a dry one before that. So dry, wet, dry, and then the dry pulls it out so it doesn't soak into there as much. So this is a test. We're gonna do this in the back window. It's the rear carpet. And it's dirty, but you can also see it's kind of starting to gray up. I want to vacuum it and spray it and see what we got. That was kind of my plan for these seats. They had started turning gray too, but we got a rip right there, so that's why we got the new upholstery coming. There you go, guys. That's the color difference. I've stopped here. You can see how it's nice and black again. This is gray, so that'll work great. We got the sun directly on here too. See that? That'll bring a whole new life to this car. There you go, guys. End result. The whole carpet will look real good. It might be a little bit stiffer now, but I think with the vacuum, if I remember reading, it fixes itself. So not to worry about that. So when I first got this car, it had been on a farm and there was some mice poop in there, so I literally stripped the whole car out. But I had read about Miata Hotfoot and it was true. So I went to the local Home Depot and I got double layered of this. It's a foil with bubble wrap on the inside. It's meant for housing stuff. Works awesome. And just so you guys can see how sweet this Miata is on the floor, that's it there. I did a little bit of sandblast there and reprimed that. I guess they did leak a little bit at one point, but it's solid in there, guys. This one's glued down already, but same idea right here. But that's really good for this car, especially in this province where I live. So I'm gonna get the rug out. I want to clean that up as well. And then all we have left in here to paint is the dashboard. And the shifter boot's installed. We're not going to bother showing how it was installed. It's just 4 screws and you got to cut a couple slits. I'm sure there are tutorials for that. This is just to show you guys how I'm redoing this car and what it's going to look like before and after. So yeah, I think that'll be a nice little touch of red inside the cabin. So what do you think? Is this your favorite car that we own? Yeah. And we've got a bunch of parts painted. Do you want to show everybody the parts?
This,
Yeah.
this, all this.
What about over here? Do you have anything that you really like? What's your favorite thing that's happening in the shop right now? You just happy to be in here? You like that all the interior is getting brand new? You were looking at the sticker before. What do you think of that sticker?
Good.
Yeah? Perfect. I really like it too. Alright guys and girls, we might have some kids noise in the background because we're in the house, and I just got a package in the mail. Let's see. I better be careful. I think there's something in here that would break, like sharp force. So I got these on eBay, 140 US. I don't remember what Canadian was, like 200 bucks shipped. You can't really go wrong for that price. But brand new for the Miata seat covers. That is gonna look good. Plus, you can't get cloth for them, that is correct, but I like this because it actually looks and feels like leather, but I find this is more durable because leather lasts a long time, but it'll crack. This feels like durable stuff. Here's another piece of it. And this will be the tops here. So I'm actually excited to put this in the Miata. It's going to look really decent. I don't know. They look well made. I did watch another guy install one, and it was missing a couple key things on there to really pull it tight. So they might need a little bit of modifying, but still, I think it'll work well. And they're perforated. These zip like the Miata ones as well, so you can get at your speakers, but they're perforated to let the sound out. They'll be really easy to clean, and they look really sharp. My wife's filming. What do you think? She's nodding. She's tired. We've had the cold going through the house here. So, yeah, we're going to get those in the Miata. But first, we're going to go right to making door cards. My son's pretty excited to help me do that. So, let's get on to those door cards. And, yeah. Guys, I'm just so impressed. Like, that carpet, look at it. And it doesn't feel like I painted it either. It's still got the soft feel to it. All right. This thing needs better door panels, at least on the driver's side. It is destroyed from age and moisture. So let's check out what we got here, and I'll walk you through what I'm thinking. So this is the door panel. It's wrecked here from a saggy door. It's wrinkled. It's supposed to be one piece, not two. This is typical Miata. It's not very stiff anymore. And you can see all the water damage in here. This side was leaking, I guess, at one point before I put the new top on. And it does a little bit in a rainy day. So, we're going to recover this. I'm going to use this as a pattern. We're going to trace it onto that piece of ABS, same as we used in the trunk for the Celica. And I have leftover material. Actually, I measured it out before, and I have just enough vinyl and 1/8 inch foam. This looks similar to what's factory. And I got glue. Here's our door panel. What's left of it. We're going to trace it onto here. Alright, here's our design. It's a copy of that one. It was so messed up along this edge here, like it's not straight. Masking tape is a good way to keep a straight guide. So I kind of got a rough in there, and then I taped it what kind of made it straight as possible. Alright guys and girls, here's the original. Maybe we'll hold it in the center of the screen. Here's the new one. Same thing, but we have it out of ABS plastic so it won't get water damage over time. I'm not sure about heat, but I've been recommended by other upholstery guys that it works. So, I've also had to take the grinder, it's a little bit thicker, and just grind out like these areas a little bit just so that I could get this pin in here, or this clip, slide it in, and then they're there. So I'm going to test fit it in the car, and if it works, then we're ready to wrap it. Alright guys, girls, door panel fits really good. Alright, Got my foam and vinyl here. We're going to coat each one, glue them together. I've got a 3M contact adhesive. Cheap gun, needs adjustments more often, I guess. This thing was like 70 bucks Canadian, so it's perfect for upholstery. It's by a brand called Vapor. I don't even know the brand. It's not like high end, but it'll work. There. So we got our vinyl on the 1/8" foam now. It's an open cell, I believe, foam. So I drew the outline on here so that I can get it close to where it needs to be. So when you stick it down, it just goes faster. So believe it or not, that's the door panel. It's hiding in there. Let's rub it down a bit. It's a little dirty, but that'll clean up nicely. Probably stain it to match everything else too. So yeah, next step is folding these edges over and calling it a day. There it is, guys, girls, ready for staining. Like I said, this is all just dust that'll come off of there yet. I think that should work nicely. Okay, guys and girls, I'm pretty excited right now. You gotta check out this dashboard. Let's get some good beauty shots on this thing. So check out that texture, guys. You remember we had a crack running straight down here. It was all cracked in there, and then this was completely split too. And I repainted the whole dashboard. Went in the glove box, did that. And the steering wheel feels like brand new, and it's great. I taped off like the gauge cluster and these little guys to keep the text. Guess I better undo these lights too, hey? So there's the original door panel, all restained. And the console done. The new shift boot. Here's the brand new lower half door panel, and the top is also restained and original, and that's the one that we made. So this whole thing is looking really like showroom fresh. I like it. So we have the original seat. This is mainly why I got the cover. They're faded as well. This is the original color there. You can see that, guys? That's how much these have faded over time. So they were black. Yeah, so that's the original look you would have had just by looking at the headrest here. So you could have stemmed these seats, and which I would have done, except that's shot and nobody has that material anymore. So I'm actually happier to put the vinyl in here as long as it works. Got my fingers crossed that the eBay stuff actually works as advertised. We will find out. Well, for $200 Canadian, that's actually really good. And these wrinkles here, I imagine, will come out with heat or with my steamer. And I had to really tuck up this foam up in here to get it to pull tight. It is damaged a bit here in the foam, but this is all nice and tight now once I've pulled the bottom of it tight. But just as a comparison, like that was the old seat, guys. It's actually gonna look pretty sweet. Nice and stiff in here. Still got our bolstering. This bolster is a little fatter because I did repair this whole thing was damaged, and like I said, there was a rip here. So that was the repair I did when I first got the car, because if I remember now, it was actually not very comfortable. but these seats aren't bad now. Okay, it's time to start reupholstering the top part of the seat. And here's the new skin for that. Well guys, I am super impressed with these eBay seat covers. Just look at the fit on there. If you have wrinkles, you can work them out. I've worked them out quite a bit. There's a lot in here. You got to be careful with the heat gun. And then you don't want to melt it. You want to get it hot enough to pull. And then I'm using this to do the pull. And it's not necessarily that you heat it just here. If I was to pull it here, it takes tension off of there. So I heat it down here so it releases tension for here as well as heating there. I think the rest will come out in the sun. As you can tell, I worked these a little bit here. Remember the crease that was here? These will come out more, I'm certain of it. They did a bunch already. So I think what we'll do is park the car with the top down in the sun and let it do its thing. But I'm going to get this seat in to the car and we'll start on the next one. I wanted to have a before and after. You can tell they are the same pattern. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And that is going to look really nice and really easy to clean in the car and way too hot in summer. But it's going in, and it was actually, in terms of installing upholstery, that was actually kind of a breeze. Thought I would show you guys the interior, how nice it came out. There's only one casualty. We'll just be right up front. I don't know where it is. The cracks did come back as soon as I start driving, so they're just going to have to be there. But everything else in here, super. These seats are way more comfy now too. I guess the bolts are pulled nice and tight, but as you can see, the leather is stretched to where it needs to be now, so there's nothing wrong with that look. So, and the door panel I made. Time to put the black rockers on. I got both sides masked like this, and I think we're going to use a SEM trim black. It should be the right sheen. Give a couple coats of that. I've scuffed it all with a red Scotch-Brite. So we're going to spray it and then I'll show you when I'm done. Rocker panel paint is done. And I'm very happy I put that back on there. I think it'll tie in really nice to the lip spoiler. We'll get a look at that later, but I also want to run gloss black wheels on here at some point. A little bit of a different size and a better looking wheel. I think that'll all tie really nice together. Alright guys and girls, I've got the wheel, you can see behind me there. It is prepped and it is scuffed and cleaned, and I'm going to use this Duplicolor wheel coating. I think it's got a nice look to it. It'll add a little bit of gloss that it didn't have, but I want them to pop a little bit more. So we're going to give the wheels a spray. They're not actually really that corroded on the outside, so let's give it a shot. Well guys, here's the before and after. You can tell this is yellowed up quite a bit too, I think. The clear coat over time. But these are nice and bright. If you get that against the car, that'll look pretty good. And for now I'm going to run without the center caps because one is tips is damaged and it doesn't stay on. And they kind of look cool without the center cap as well. So down the road we might get a set, but for now we've done quite a bit on the car already. I think we'll call it good with a nice paint job on these wheels. But check that out guys, the paint did come out really nice. That should work great.